Hello everyone, my name is Philip and thank you for joining me on day 2 of my otherworldly adventure at the 17th annual Toronto After Dark Horror, Sci-Fi and Action Film Festival, screening at Scotiabank Theatre in downtown Toronto. Day 2 began with an introduction by the festival director and founder Adam Lopez, where he introduced the opening feature UFO Sweden. This film was screened along with short film Rec Volton, Alien Hunter directed by Jack Lazarge and Michael Williams, about a bumbling mercenary who gets more than he bargained for on his latest assignment. UFO Sweden, directed by Victor Danell, is a fantastic Scandinavian blend of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Stranger Things and Interstellar, with great cinematography, effects, action sequences, a killer synth score, and a heartwarming story about a group of misfits. At its core, UFO Sweden is a sci-fi crowd pleaser that was not to be missed. After her extraterrestrial obsessed father goes missing in the 1980s, a teenager persuades a local UFO spotting society to help her unlock the mysteries of alien sightings in Sweden. The second feature was Restore Point from the Czech Republic, directed by Robert Haloz, who was in attendance for a post-screening Q&A. The film is set in 2041, where thanks to the Restore Point Corporation, humanity can cheat death by downloading its personality to a duplicate body. However, after the murder of one of the corporation's founders, an investigating young female police agent uncovers a hidden web of corruption and scandals that threatens the entire order of society. With a fantastic future dystopian noir aesthetic, this acclaimed new sci-fi thriller is the Czech Republic's must-see addition to the cyberpunk worlds of Blade Runner and Minority Report. This was screened along with short film Exemplar directed by Paul Firminger. So sit back and enjoy the raw, unedited footage of the second day at the Toronto After Dark Film Festival. Thank you for joining me on this otherworldly adventure. I hope you did find this insightful and entertaining. Please do share your thoughts and comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with fellow travelers. Until next time, journey on.
Welcome. My name is Adam Lopez, I'm Festival Director and founder of Toronto After Dark, and it's my great honor and pleasure to welcome you to Sci-Fi Night at Toronto Dark. We have a lot of space cadets in the audience, yeah? People enjoy a bit of outer world fun, but we are going to be having some very shortly. First up, I've got some thank yous. By the way, who was there last night? Did you enjoy our opening night film? Possible contender for the audience choice award this year? Maybe a sci-fi film will snag it, because we've got a couple of gems coming up. Please give some thank yous first off to our wonderful hosts, Cineplex and the Scotiabank Theatre staff. Give them up. Thank you. Keep going to our dedicated team at the dark who help put this festival together, and especially our incredible volunteers who pick up and thank you. What have we got coming up after this? Well, we have any fans of Blade Runner? Come on, good classic sci-fi. Minority Report, The Worlds of Philip K. Dick. You know what I'm talking about? Adjustment Bureau, Total Recall. This film that's coming up straight after this, Restore Point, if you haven't got tickets to, that is the kind of world you'll be entering. It is set in 2041 Prague, so about 20 years from now. It's got a very cyberpunk feel to it. The landscape has been sort of digitally enhanced. It's a thriller, an espionage thriller. There's all sorts of government and corporate conspiracies going on. There's a cop who's trying to uncover it all. And there's bodies being uploaded to databases and servers. So it's a really, really cool movie. I think you should really check out Restore Point. We're really excited to say that the filmmaker is actually here for that. So you're going to get a chance to have a great Q&A with someone who is making Blade Runner in Prague. And that's going to be a lot of fun. That's Restore Point coming up straight after at 9:30. What else we got? Tomorrow night. Any fans of Knives Out? Yeah? What about the TV hit show that just wrapped up, Succession? Any Succession fans? Yeah. Mash those two together and you have a Succession Knives Out murder mystery weekend made by Canadian filmmakers. It's got Iggy Pop in it. Fans of Bob Saget? It's his last performance on cinema, so he's in it too. And some other great local Canadian talent, and you'll see a few of those here tomorrow night for a great Q&A. A couple of years ago, we actually put in a sci-fi. We had a sci-fi film called James versus Future Self. Any fans of that film? Same director, Jeremy Lalonde, will be here. So that's Daniel. Gotta Die, tomorrow at 7 o'clock. You don't want to miss it. And then, of course, any slasher horror movie fans? Yeah? Like Scream? Halloween? Well, move over, Mike Myers, move over Ghostface, because tomorrow night you're going to meet the founder. And the filmmakers behind Founders Day are here. It is going to be, I think, the beginning of a new slasher horror franchise. And you'll be the first audience in Canada to get to see it. So check that out. That's Founders Day tomorrow night. Plenty more at the festival website, going on right through the weekend to Sunday. So check that out at TorontoDark.com. We've also been playing short films at Toronto Dark. Any fans of the shorts? Yeah? What I love about the shorts and our festival Canadian shorts programmer Shannon Hanna tries to do is pair the shorts where she can thematically. It's not always easy, and especially to find indie sci-fi shorts. So we're really happy to have a sci-fi short opening for tonight's sci-fi feature and local filmmakers involved. So please give a warm welcome to one of the directors to introduce his crew, Jack Massage. Come on, Jack! Red Bolton. I got this last week and I just love it, so I can't wait to have it for you.
Thank you. Yeah, we shot this originally for a short 5-minute film festival competition, posted at the Super Wonder Gallery. They do it bi-monthly. It's great. Want to do films? Enter a film competition is great. We shot this in like 1 week. Sean edited in a week originally, which is insane. He did so much work, this guy.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm Luke. I'm the Ethiopian editor, and yeah, I broke myself a little bit editing our first cut of the film, and then we tried to submit it to Toronto After Dark later because we were like, oh, it's pretty good. Maybe it'll go somewhere. And then we ended up doing a reshoot day and a re-edit of it with new music and everything for it, which our wonderful Sam Hunt up there did a composure for that. So yeah.
And of course, films are a team effort. I couldn't do it by myself, or even just him and I. So we have Michael Williams, script editor, script supervisor, Christy Farrell, our actress, amazing. Michael Williams, our actor, incredible. And Ezekiel Morales, wonderful actor, wonderful crew. And I hope you all enjoy our film, because we worked hard on it, we like it, and we hope you like it too.
Cheers. The team behind Red Bolton. Thank you so much. Red Bolton! As someone who's worked on low-budget sci-fi myself, I gotta say I'm really impressed with these guys, and you guys are going to have a lot of fun with their short momentarily. Feature film. So, as you might know from my jacket, I am a big space cadet. When I was a child growing up in England, I used to rush home after school to watch reruns of classic sci-fi shows. The good old original Star Trek. Any fans? The OG? Doctor Who? Any old-fashioned Doctor Who fans? Yeah. What else did I used to watch? I used to play, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. TV series, the original. I even used to watch, I know it's a bit cheesy these days, the original Lost in Space. Yeah, I was out there having fun with that. But basically, and then with the movies in the 80s as well growing up, I just loved everything Spielberg was doing. Close Encounters, E.T., we've said Blade Runner, the Aliens franchise. I don't know, there's something about traveling to other worlds. That was my first love before getting into the dark and twisted, murderous ways of horror. So sci-fi movies, every year we look for indie sci-fi, and it is so hard to find. What is independent science fiction? You always think of big budget. There's a group of guys in Sweden called Crazy Pictures. And they came on our radar a couple of years ago with a film that they were working on called The Unthinkable. So this was like an apocalyptic action film shot on a shoestring budget. We could tell they had talent, but it was really rough around the edges. So it wasn't quite ready for the TAD level. But here they are with UFO Sweden, and it's about 12 filmmakers in Sweden that have done 90% of the work on this film. They shot it in 60 days. It's incredible. And then they spent a year themselves doing all the special effects and post-production. So you can look up the history behind Crazy Pictures, but this film you're about to see was made for $3 million, and I can only imagine that's the catering budget on a Christopher Nolan film. So It looks great, sounds great. The synthesizer score, you can find it on YouTube and on Spotify. Absolutely stunning. A lot of talent here. And it's a coming-of-age story with a young lead teenager who's sort of searching for, her lost dad. And the misfits in here are very endearing as well. There's a very Scandinavian kind of quirky humor. So I think you guys are going to fall in love with UFO Sweden. And just realize this is a labor of love by a bunch of geeks like us who love 80s, 90s, and 70s sci-fi. And they wanted to do it with so much heart. And I think they poured it into this film. So a year of love went into this. It's something very special, and I think you'll enjoy it. Before I head off, this film is eligible for our Audience Choice Award. And how do we do that? We ballot the pass holders, all of you that bought the whole festival. Check your emails next week, and you can vote for any of these. The rest of you as well, everyone really here, spread the word on these films, because many of them are looking for distribution right now. So tag us at TADFF Film Fest, get the word out on social media. And without further ado, you can turn off all your digital devices and enjoy UFO Sweden and Sci-Fi Night. And we'll see you for more fun after dark.
Hello and welcome to Toronto After Dark! My name is Peter Kaplowski. I'm a consulting programmer with the festival, and it is a great privilege and honor to be presenting round 2 of our science fiction night. We're here for UFO Sweden. Yes. Well, it's going to get even more fun, more gritty. This is a really terrific film, but before I introduce it, I just want to say a few things. First of all, big thank you to Cineplex, our venue. A round of applause for hosting us last few years and for this year. And of course, keep it going for both the staff of the festival, but the volunteers. In my opinion, the festival absolutely could not exist without volunteers, and a dedication was made on the first night. I'd like to do it as well. I wouldn't be a film festival programmer if it wasn't for Harvey Lalonde, and please, let's just shower some appreciation so he can hear it. He introduced me to the great Adam Lopez many years ago, and I really don't think I would have had a career. I think he was a pillar in the community and this festival. He will be dearly missed, and every time you see a volunteer, thank them, smile at them. They are the lifeblood of film festivals and community festivals and events all together. Thank you so much, Harvey. All right. I also want to plug that we've got more amazing programming coming. We're going to be having a short film, as we usually do, a Canadian short film in front of the features programmed by Shannon Hamner. She's also got a Canadian short sidebar that is on Saturday at 4 o'clock, but also we've got an international short sidebar on Sunday at 4 o'clock by Bridget Van Woerding. Please, round of applause, she's in the room. And these are just incredible opportunities to see filmmakers often at the start of their career, not always, but often at the start of their career, and it's a chance to support them. Sometimes these shorts, rarely, don't make it to the internet. This might be your only chance to see it, especially on the big screen. So it's a really great opportunity to support filmmakers. In fact, the film tonight, the feature film, the filmmaker began at Toronto After Dark with a short film, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But first, please put your hands together for a representative from the team that did Ex-Templar, the short film that's playing tonight, Leah Trenier.
Hey everyone, my name is Leah Trenier, and I'm here to represent Fishlight Entertainment, as well as our awesome director, Paul Firminger. Fishlight, for a little bit of context, is a boutique animation studio. We're actually based out in Vancouver, which is where I flew in from. So I'm so stoked to be here in Toronto to watch the film with you all in real life. Ex-Templar is the name of our film, and we worked extremely hard on it. It's Fishlight's first ever produced short, and our first of many to come. So I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you so much, Toronto After Dark, for having us, and yeah, enjoy the film.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you. Now, I mentioned that, oftentimes we have filmmakers that begin their career with short films that we play at the festival, and it's so incredible when we can have that filmmaker return with a feature film. The filmmaker in question is Robert Holst, who is a Czech filmmaker, but years ago we played this incredible short film called Numbers that, by all intents and purposes, looked like a Korean film. It's because this filmmaker actually studied in Korean film school, and made this really extraordinary short. This filmmaker has been on my list of filmmakers to track for years, and I was so excited when I finally saw this film and recommended it to the Toronto After Dark team, and I'm so glad that we're playing it tonight. This really extraordinary movie, Restore Point. So please put your hands together for the filmmaker, Robert Holst.
So thank you so much. All right, so for the beginning, I just want to make a selfie for our crew, because the crew was working so hard on this movie and they're gonna be so stoked to see you. So please smile. Oh, can you take it?
Yeah.
Oh. Yes! Thank you so much.
Wait, no, we're gonna get some too.
I found that.
So is there anything you'd like to say to set up Restore Point?
Yeah, sure. So, okay, as you mentioned, my movie Numbers, it's like, I don't know, 11 years ago maybe, was here at the festival. By that time, I would never dream about having a science fiction feature, especially as a debut film, and having it here after all this time. It was really, back then, absolutely unimaginable to me. But you know, the destiny wanted that, and I always loved sci-fi. And you know, in Czech Republic, we don't usually do these kind of films. What we do is mostly like comedies about communism.
I mean, there was a period where you had some Czech sci-fis, and I feel like you might be bringing a renaissance back with
Yeah, like 1968. Yeah.
So it's been a long time.
Yeah, this is the first Czech sci-fi after, I'd say, 60 years. And you know, everybody felt like we are really, really crazy trying to pull this off, and they were right. I mean, we had no idea how much work it's gonna be, etc. But you know, it was fun, it was amazing, it was a dream coming true, and I just want to thank the whole crew that cannot be here, but they are thinking about the screening, and I hope you can like it. And yeah, they put immense work into this. And yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoy it. It's a film from the Central Europe, from Prague, of the future. It's a future that will surely, that is surely ahead of us, even though it might look improbable right now. You will see when you're older that it's gonna be alright.
I think by the end the movie ends, it'll be even closer than we think. Thank you so much, Robert. Please put your hands together.
Thank you.
And stick around for the Q&A. Turn your cell phones off. You know the drill. For all after dark, Restore Point. For director Robert Post.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for sticking with the Q&A, guys. I appreciate that. Come on, I know you guys got trains to catch. We'll do a short one, 15 minutes. I'll start things off. Please think of some questions. You know, what struck me the first time I saw this film, and then also reflecting when we were discussing your short film Numbers, is even though they're different stories with sort of a different premise, they're both very much concerned with mortality and deadlines and
Fascinating, right?
Yeah. Was that something that you were even conscious of?
No.
No. But they're both characters that are grappling with an understanding of mortality. And so I'm curious. The great thing about science fiction is you can tell a genre story and deal with philosophical ideas. And so how did this theme of mortality and the finiteness of our lives sort of enter into your consciousness when writing this film?
Well, you're absolutely right that, I did this short film Numbers, which has a similar theme, and I realized there's a similar theme after I finished this movie. I really didn't know, but I started to, probably looking inside of myself, like what is going on. And I remember that when I was very little, maybe 10 years old, I remember that I had a discussion with one girl. I had a crush on that girl, and we've been discussing something. And she told me like, oh, I want to live, fast, and I don't care if I die young. And I was like, whoa, it's like I'm the opposite. Like I want to live the longest because I think then I will have the most time to have the fun, right? And then as I grew older, in your 20s and or something, then you realize that living fast and dangerous is probably the better way how to spend your life. And she was right. So the girls obviously they made you faster, right? But yeah, I guess maybe there is some fascination with the longitude of life in me. Frankly, I don't really know yet why But it just happens that I'm super fascinated by that, and death is just something that, yeah, I just find it very hypnotic.
And so what inspired you to to explore these themes in a detective story?
Oh, it was just because this film is very unusual within the Czech cinema of today. But we wanted to do a sci-fi, or there was this interesting theme on the table, this idea, that you can kind of save and load yourself. And we've been thinking, like, how can we make it simple for us in a way, because it's a debit feature and it's a sci-fi, so it's like a very kind of ambitious proposal for Czech cinema to have those things together. So we've been trying to find something that we can, some safe ground basically that we can follow, and that's gonna kind of make our limits, right? And that's gonna define this story, so we don't go too much far into the future, or we wanted to have the structure kind of simple in a way that we can go with this kind of interesting philosophy and these ideas wherever we want, because we will always know that there is some very reliable structure that we can
And it's
follow.
a familiar one as well.
Yeah.
And speaking of the fact that it is not the not too distant future, I think one of the incredible strengths of this film is the remarkable production design.
Thank you.
And how you set it in the future, but it's again a familiar world, but there are all these sort of retro future details, which the film has been compared to aesthetics like other films have done this, like Blade Runner or Children of Men, for instance. But could you speak?
Super humbling.
But I mean, it's true. I mean, there's really incredible design work. How can you speak about working with your production designers and planning and the sort of futuring of your detective story?
Yeah, well, so we were thinking, like, how can we make this movie on $2 million budget, and how can we make it iconic, and how can we make it kind of ours, so it feels a little bit exotic for maybe Western countries, and it's not just the language, but even the visual language. And we've been doing really a lot of prep in terms of location scout. We really scouted many countries in Europe, and we figured out that this is the only way how we can make the movie on the budget is like we have to find for almost every scene like the very specific location, so we don't have to.
It's like George Lucas's THX 1138.
Yeah,
find the future that exists.
Exactly. That was the process, and so we spent like 3 years closed in one van with me, the production designer, and the DOP, just traveling around all the brutalist and modernist architecture we could find in Central Europe, and there was a lot of many days of discussions in this van, really like throughout those 3 years of prep, and it came down to that. We wanted to retain the kind of original architecture of that area, but we will kind of build it up, and because of course the density of the population is going to rise, but we have these kind of like historical departments in each city, and they will never allow to turn down the old buildings. So we have this problem in our old cities in Europe, that no new buildings are being built, or very little. So we've been thinking that, okay, but there has to be a point where they will have to allow something. So we came up with this idea, okay, so they will allow it, but only if you kind of follow the original direction of the building. So if you do it in the original style, so kind of retain the style of the city or of the building, then you can build it as high as you want. And so that gave it this kind of retro-futuristic feel, because a lot of these buildings are from the 80s and kind of this communistic era in my country. And then we needed this visual language to translate also to the smaller gadgets. So we came back to the 80s wave, 90s wave with those almost like Walkman kind of things. And we said to ourselves, like, the technology in 20 years is gonna be so miniaturized that you're not gonna need any special gadget. It's gonna be probably uploaded to some invisible chip in your head or something. So, but audiences and film language loves these kind of gadgets. And what we realize is like the people love owning stuff, and you can.
So you're gonna market these projects?
So we can kind of touch the things, and so we realize that these big companies, they will never stop selling you stuff.
Yeah, they'll always need to put something in plastic.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're like, okay, so we don't have to be kind of invisible. We can use whatever. Actually, we can, and it's gonna be a new wave. This retro wave is gonna be very popular among the youngs. To have these from the 80s, like as we now have the LPs, right? So they will have the Walkmans kind of, but it's not gonna be Walkmans anymore. It's gonna be those restoration gadgets.
I have some more questions, but let's go to the audience so that you guys have a chance. Yes, right in the front.
Why Au Clair de Lune?
Why Clair de Lune, the musical piece?
Okay, so I will give you two answers to that. Okay, the first one, the official one, is that we've been looking for a theme that sounds simple at one part of the musical part, and then gets super complicated. So we can show the development of a character, like at the beginning she is kind of able to play the melody, you can recognize it, and then of course everybody should recognize what it is. And then at the end of the movie when she gets her gift, she can play it as a master, the very super complicated part of that. So there was one way of looking at that, and we've been looking for the perfect melody, and yeah, it just happened to be this one. And the unofficial answer, which is very honest, and there's very few people in the world who knows that. So, part of the financing is a Serbian fund. Serbia is this country in Europe, and we promised them to give them the sound kind of part of the film and the music. And when you are co-financing with different country in Europe,
There's a lot of co-financing.
Yeah, you have to finance it. That's just how we do it, you have to give them some artists from the movie, so they should be from that country, and they can kind of cooperate with you as a core team. Polish fund usually wants to have their DOP because Polish people are very proud of their DOPs. Czech people, I don't know. And
Their fascination with that.
but Serbians really wanted to have their musician, and I wasn't very happy about it because I wanted to work with somebody who's my generation. Basically, the whole team is really my generation, and that helped to make the movie because we all have the same kind of visual and audio kind of library, what we've been through, the films we know, so it was easy to work with them for me. But the Serbians, they really wanted their best musician they have for film, and it's some kind of guy who didn't felt like part of our team. The vibe wasn't there, so I was super worried about it, and I didn't want to give him the task before the shooting because we needed to have the melody before the shooting to compose
An original piece or
original
something.
piece. I really wish to have an original piece for that. I want it to be a very strong melody that's gonna go through the film, but I just wasn't sure that it should be this guy. So I kind of postponed him, like maybe we'll find some other solution, maybe they will finance something else, maybe they will give somebody else, some other artist that's not going to do music.
You hedge your bets in order to
and I was trying to buy some time for myself to have a different composer, the one who is finally doing that, who is a Czech guy. I was postponing that so long that it was very hard, financially and stuff and politically, and so long that we started to shoot.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the other musician that I wanted. I didn't have that piece, so it's like, okay, well, fuck it, let's go with this music that already exists. We will just do it. And now in the hindsight, if I would have the chance to change it, I would change it for an original piece. But at the same time, this music, serves really well in terms of that it's simple and complicated. So
It's immediately recognizable. The audience was already so familiar with it, so you can understand the flow of it. Yeah.
But I love original music, so yeah.
Ready for the next one? Other questions? Right there, yes.
So in a movie that deals with so many like things regarding time and just life after death, I'm sure it gets pretty complex trying to structure it. Did you face any obstacles at some points where you were like, oh, where's my story gonna go now?
So the questions about the structuring the script and the story, considering some of the sort of complications of how the premise plays out. What were the challenges in structuring this detective story and this mystery?
Yeah, well, definitely there was this problem. But you know, anytime you face a character, anytime you have a character who doesn't remember his past, it's a trap. It's a trap because you don't want to show it, because then it kind of feels that the audience knows more than the characters, which is not a great place to be. And at the same time, you kind of want the characters to find out information about something that has already happened, and it's very often it's like they have to tell it. You cannot show it because it already happened in the past, unless you want to use some flashbacks and stuff that can get, you know, a little bit awkward. So this was a big deal that we've been, you know, really many versions of the script were developed, and we really tried to kind of weigh it out and really find a balance between how much the story is telling you and how much the story is not telling you. I think the producers pushed it a little bit towards the space where we are telling a lot, but at the same time, it was my goal from the beginning that it should be understandable and should be approachable, so I'm fine with that. But yeah, it's a trap. I will probably not do this mistake again. I will have my characters have the starting
No more
point.
amnesia.
Yeah, amnesia is just I found that it's a quite complicated thing to do well, and I think I need to learn a little bit and do like 10 movies.
When you started the mystery, did you start with the solution? Because sometimes, you know, detective writers will say they start with the solution, then they work backwards.
Yeah, we felt we have this great genius idea that, you know, David, the character, killed his wife because he wanted to resurrect her with a different memory. Like he's one of the inventors, so it's a perfect crime that only he can do, and also it's a perfect match for the character. And it also brings up all those like you know, philosophical or, you know, social kind of themes, like is this great new technology, can it be used against, you know, you and stuff. So it really worked well, and we've been proud about it. And then we also knew how to kind of start the movie with like finding this dead body of David, and then having him resurrected suddenly. So those were like two main starting points, I think, that haven't changed much throughout the story. Otherwise, there was a lot of changes, because the development took really like 9 years from the first idea to today. But you know, it's big part of that is that really there was no precedence for this movie in Czech area, so it took a long time to convince everybody.
Well, congratulations on that, Joe. We have time for one more question from the audience, right in the middle there.
So almost all of the written text in the movie is in English, and a lot of it is just English. Can you talk about why you chose?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I think most of the text is like Czech and English, because yeah, we kind of count with the future where English becomes another official language, or you need to have English translations. Like in Prague, which is a very touristy city, it's already happening. So
You just took it 20 more years.
yeah, we just took it forward, and we also felt like it's gonna be you know, easier for the foreign audiences to grasp it, but also since you have these like Czech text there, it feels kind of exotic. So yeah, we just like that.
Just to end off the Q&A, I'd like to just have an opportunity for you to speak about what your plans are next, and also how people can continue to follow your career. I know that after I saw numbers, I had to put the IMDb alert on for myself to see when your next project's going to be. But yeah, how can people follow you, and what is next for you? What's your next project?
Okay,
so hopefully it doesn't take 9 years.
No, I hope so, yeah. Well, they can follow me on Instagram, I guess is the simplest, or just join me on Facebook, whatever. Instagram is RoboHlos. Yeah, well, the next project. So there is several projects on the table right now. I will probably try to do English spoken project. Hopefully there is one smaller, kind of like indie sci-fi, but Hollywood finance movie. So it's not indie actually, but the budget is not. But for me, it's a big step. For me, it's a big step. But for American audiences, it's not a great budget, but it's enough for me. Because we
don't discriminate here. All budgets any size.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, it would be like a nice English cast or American cast.
But you're staying in science fiction. Science fiction is
so well, it's not a boundary, but it just happens. When you do such a movie, then yeah.
Everybody wants you to make it.
Before that, I was getting all the kind of horror scripts, and which I love horror, but I don't feel as strong in it as in sci-fi. I know all the sci-fi, so it's simple for me to kind of navigate and to decide what is original, what is not original, and stuff like this. And so now it started to come, so that's nice to have this change, because before you make a sci-fi, there is no chance of getting any sci-fi script on the table.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to that film. Please put your hands together and give people a look at the film. Thank you so much.